The day was Tuesday, July 20th, 2021. Blue Origin, a privately funded aerospace manufacturer and suborbital spaceflight services company owned by Jeff Bezos, sent its first crewed mission into space, using its new Shepard rocket and spaceflight system. The flight was approximately 10 minutes and crossed the Kármán line, but that was not it. According to reports, Jeff Bezos was also on board, and he was a part of the 4-member crew that took the biggest risk of their lives. Best day ever were the words of Bezos at the touchdown.
Landon said this is the greatest day ever.
Yeah.
What was so special?
Well, but everything.
The last few years have been marked by trade wars and hot wars. This year may bring with it Star Wars, as space, the final economic frontier, becomes the focus of a global race for dominance by both public and private actors. The past 2 decades have seen a significant growth in the commercial space industry, with companies such as SpaceX, Blue Origin, Orbital ATK, SES, OneWeb, and more than 10,000 others becoming a part of a rapidly expanding sector known as New Space. This sector is focused on expanding private space access, servicing space stations, and providing satellite operations, defense technology, data analytics, and even more ambitious ventures like space tourism, manufacturing, and asteroid mining. Welcome to Tell Me More, and today we'll be talking about the Musk versus Bezos, SpaceX versus Blue Origin war in space. At first glance, these two companies look a lot alike. They are both led by billionaires who became wealthy from the internet. Jeff Bezos of Blue Origin earned his fortune from Amazon.com, and Elon Musk of SpaceX got rich initially from web-based businesses, notably PayPal. Both companies are developing large, reusable launch vehicles capable of carrying people and satellites for government and commercial customers, and both are motivated by almost messianic visions of humanity's future beyond Earth. This coming year will likely see some major milestones as these two titans continue to jockey for position. SpaceX is the best-known new space player, having launched thousands of satellites for both public and private use. Musk's Starlink service has kept the Ukrainian internet up and running, even as Russian forces shut down other telecommunications. But it has also become a potential target for Moscow's military, even as Musk haggled with the Pentagon over the cost of keeping the Ukrainians online. This underscores a growing debate over who should control the space economy, which was worth $469 billion in 2021, according to the nonprofit Space Foundation, and is predicted by the Bank of America to be a $1.4 trillion industry by 2030. Revenues in the commercial space sector were up 6.4% from 2020, according to the Space Foundation's 2022 Space Report, with much of the growth driven by a 19% increase in government spending on military and civilian space programs. Space is an expensive and technically difficult business. No one country can do it alone. New partnerships are being forged, notably with the new brash billionaires on the block. Elon Musk's company, SpaceX, is already taking passengers into orbit. The billionaire entrepreneur is bringing down costs with a reusable rocket. Not to be outdone, Amazon's Jeff Bezos wants to build a commercial orbiting station called Orbital Reef. Dr. Joseph Aschbacher, who is head of the European Space Agency, is determined to keep Europe in the new space race. He has recently had a $2.4 billion increase in funding, despite the financial squeeze facing governments. While public-private satellite programs had existed since the 1960s, it wasn't until the shuttle program began winding down that the new crop of commercial space companies began to take off. Congress shifted funding incentives and created a new policy, the Commercial Orbital Transportation Services Program, to encourage privatization. NASA and other government agencies became customers of private space contractors rather than creators or even supervisors of new technologies. As with all privatization, the idea was to drive down costs and increase innovation. NASA data from 2014 shows that SpaceX was able to deliver 1 kg of cargo to the International Space Station, or ISS, at about a third of the price of the Space Shuttle. Private flights now conduct the majority of resupply missions for the space station and even transport some crew. A handful of new space companies could piggyback on NASA technologies that took decades to develop, while the established contractors which helped build them lost out. Taxpayers who funded the basic research got no stake in the wealth being created by billionaires in space, the largest public commons of all. In many ways, this mirrors the public-private asymmetries of power seen in the building of 19th century railroad fortunes, or in the commercialization of the internet, in which a handful of big tech companies profited above all others. But the new space race is far more complex, because of the scale and the potential for damage. Space debris, including defunct satellites, spacecraft parts, and the junk created by collisions between them, are becoming a major risk factor in space travel. But there is no consensus on who should pay for, clean up, or arbitrate the fallout from collisions. The main law governing space commons is still the Cold War-era Outer Space Treaty of 1967, which has little to say about modern space technologies. It simply prohibits putting nukes or other weapons of mass destruction into space. Optimists would argue that the potential profits from commercializing space will more than pay for debris cleanup, or that better regulation will naturally follow innovation. But it's all too easy to imagine any number of sci-fi-style disasters. From the creation of off-world colonies where the rich are able to escape the problems of this planet, to evil billionaires hoarding rare earth minerals in space. But tackling these and myriad other issues posed by the commercialization of space will require the sort of global cooperation currently lacking on Earth. So we don't know who will succeed first, Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, or any other billionaire. But one thing is for sure, we hope it's for the betterment of mankind. With that, it's time to say goodbye for now. But before we go, remember to subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon to stay updated. Your thoughts and suggestions are important to us, so don't forget to leave them in the comments. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.